Happy Wednesday, everyone. It is Mel, and thought I would come on and say hello. I wasn't on yesterday, and I honestly was thinking, gee whiz, like, either I go on now amidst the boys playing in the back, not my boys, but, they might as well be because I care for them so much and they live around me, or I leave it, don't put up a video, and wait until tomorrow, because when it cools off, I'm going to start getting busy running my laundry, doing up my dishes, and hopefully getting that second wind. Wednesdays, I start my day off fairly early, so my first appointment is at 9:30 in the morning, and I've got to be at a good fair distance from my home. So Wednesdays are harder for me. Now, that might come to an end. So what you're seeing now at this moment, you guys, is my current Hobonichi weeks in the wallpaper design by Yumi Kitagershi. And actually, there's no R in that pronunciation. So if you heard me say it, please forgive me. I do have a speech impediment. And so, yeah. Kitagishi. There you go. Yes, it's true. I have an excuse for everything. That's one of them. I did get in the mail my November Sweet Koi designs, and I do need to start organizing all of this various goodies of stickers and stuff that I showed you in the last video I did, which was the haul video and the annotating, which thank you guys if you commented on that video. I don't often do a whole lot of haul videos, for a number of reasons. The first reason right off the bat is I'm in Canada. Most of my viewers, I mean, I would say 90% are in the States. Completely different Amazon reference numbers. I don't have affiliate links. Although somebody said in Italy that they were able to find the stickers fairly easy. The prices were fairly similar. So I imagine it wouldn't be too hard. So yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what this video is going to be about, but whatever it is going to be about, I'm just going to put on my do not disturb. I tend to chatter on for about an hour if you're new, but then again, if you are new to my channel and you've just discovered me, welcome. Grab whatever your favorite thing to do, play, doodle in, draw, journal, whatever. Grab a drink, hot, cold, one with flavor. I'm ADHD. I like to have 3 different drinks on the go. Usually, I don't know, 2 in my kitchen, or like 1 at my desk, or today I have raspberry mist going, which it's it's when you get tired of water, it's a little bit of flavor. So I'm looking here at what I should have been doing, and I say should have been because apart from my appointments, you guys, I have been not really doing anything. Although today is 5 days until fall, so there you go. These stickers, and then the countdown is on. 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, and then Sunday is a day until fall. So on Monday is the first day of autumn. Yeah, and I'm pretty much set up for next week, and after that, at least I'm a week ahead. So this will be a little bit of a flip. This book I tend to pack with me. So I did have this August sticker here. I had it tucked in here with this little Hobonichi ruler, which sadly I never use, and I always think to, but I never do. Challenge, fun, walk, sun. Wonder. Let's actually try it out, shall we? Because it is sunny. Let's try out the little sun. See how it makes out. My goodness. Let's see. I'm gonna need a pretty fine tip pen. Let's use the Pentel gel. Does it go in there? It's so funny, you guys. This little ruler. Oh, that's pretty good. I woke up this morning, or I shouldn't say woke up, because I was on and off up all night long, but fog, and there is this kind of an ash, like, all over my vehicle, and there's been forest fires surrounding where I've been. So I think the wind had picked up sometime in the evening and had blown that ash all over my vehicle. I hadn't seen anything like it in a long time. So it was really muggy, and I could smell it. It was putrid kind of in the air. And the mornings tend to be like that. They're cool for me, and then in the afternoon it warms up. Although some of you say that, you know, in places where you live, it is only starting to cool down at 80 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, okay? So for me, 80 degrees would be a hot day, but we are in a humid weather here, you guys, quite a humid weather. And a lot of people that live in Texas or, you know, down south in North America, where I've been before, I've been, you know, I've been to Mexico, I've been to, you know, really far south, and it's not like here. Here we have a wet humidity, and so one moment you could be super cold and you're in layers, but at the same time you're sweating and it makes you ill. It's very bad for something like TB or tuberculosis or something like that. Anyway, so this I'm really happy to go through this book, because I didn't start off these books as well as I had started off my last year's book. And I think I'm going to do a comparison of 2024 and 2025 books together coming up soon, so I could show you the difference. And the one thing that I am very grateful for, and I will say this, even though, you know, like, it forces us to think about our stationery really early, is, you know, what we call Hobonichi season. And I haven't got my second order yet, you guys. It should be here. Okay, so I did that on the wrong week. I should have known that. I should have known that. Let's see, where are we? So I just... Look at that, you guys. Okay, so I was testing it out. I completely, like... Okay. I did it on the wrong one. So we're on Wednesday the 17th. Let's put it here. Yeah. I'm not really thinking. Sorry, you guys. Not really thinking. Like I said, some days I feel like I've literally been whacked upside the head, and trying to get a clear and cohesive thought out of me is really hard to do, mainly because I've been put on new medication for one, so that's always a convenient excuse, and I always have one. So if you stick around long enough, you're going to get that from me. Okay, so I'm just going to put this one up here and try these. But yeah, I guess the point is that these little stamps here, I don't really use all that often, and it's too bad because it's got the shopping cart, it's got books. Let's put a book here. And I mean, these are tiny, you guys. Oh my goodness, like, look at that. So I was reading. It is sunny. There's a smile, there's a ball, a box, a star. There's a heart. What else is on that? A phone. I talked to my daughter yesterday, who is in Japan, and the day before. And she said the turbulence going down was like incredible. And I am now a marmy of 5 guys. Yes, and I got the heads up to let you all know that occurred Monday. So that is when I came on last, and so that's essentially, while I was filming my last video, essentially was when my daughter had baby. So I mean, I can't even believe it, to have 3 adult children and 2 of them with spouses, and then a total of 5 grandchildren is just mind numbing. Like I don't, it feels to me like I've entered the Twilight Zone, and I'm not sure if you guys know what the Twilight Zone is, but I'm gonna put this paper clip here. But that was the big show when I was growing up, and I guess it's kind of along the lines of Stranger Things, although I've never watched Stranger Things because my daughter said that I wouldn't like it, that it would kind of be scary for me. I don't know. The truth of the matter is that I can't watch anything very scary at all. I can't retain it in my head, and I can't let it go. Okay, so that's where I am. I have been really bad with my water, and I have been really bad with my exercise. So I'm just going to cross off these 2 here. There's been a reason for that. I did try to eat chicken. I did try to eat beef, both of which were massive flops. I'm reading Wild by Cheryl Strayed, as well as David Bicotti's, what is that book? Oh my goodness, 1 second. Here it is. Simple Genius. I couldn't commit, you guys. So apparently I wanted to read this book so bad that I had like 3 copies of it when I was cleaning out my garage. So he's a fantastic writer. So Cheryl Strayed wrote Wild. These are the fiction books that I'm reading, by the way. These are not the books that I'm annotating. For reference, the nonfiction book that I'm reading currently, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I've narrowed it down to, I believe, Sylvia Plath I want to do first, but I think I'm like working through the organization book first, and you guys wanted to do a series on that. So I think when it comes to my nonfiction, this is the first one, and then the Unbridged Journals of Sylvia Plath, but I still have the memoirs of letters. What is it called now? Letters Home, which is like 532 pages, and that's still not here. And this is her personal journals, which are completely of a different tone than Letters Home, because Sylvia Plath, although very brilliant, take the very out, although brilliant, was sadly very depressed. I see here Joyce Carol Oates reviewed the books. Now, I never read the reviews of the books, but I do know of Joyce Carol Oates. She wrote the Poisonwood Bible. If you guys want to read something very good, the Poisonwood Bible is a phenomenal book. So, yeah. So all of that is just a mix match of where these pages are. Now, when you're looking at something as small as like the weeks, all of that information can be transpired here, you see, in this wee little bit of space. But as for actually getting anything done, sorry, I just have to write something down. I just got a DM from someone. Perfect. So yeah, like this book, Small and Mighty, is what I would call the weeks. Small and Mighty. And for meals today, probably I'm gonna try some fruit. I'll see how a fruit cleanse will work over the next day or two. So that's pretty much what's going on. Friday, I have my daughter's plants to contend to. I do have all of the chores that I failed to do last week, and I haven't been following them in this order either. Certainly not in this order at all, so I should cross them out as well. I've just been doing them in my own kind of way. And because it's just me, you guys, I don't have to account to anybody. I'm going to cross out these ones, even though I can still like do them, but I need to go back and do what's my priority. So I'm going to just come back up here and do that, because I do have to get my garbage out, things like that. Okay, so that's my weeks. I was putting the sticker down. I did put the sticker down in the back of the notes pages here. Oh, and I was going to outline this too. And this was another thing I was going to talk to you guys about too, is how to relax. And what I've found for me, I've been DM'd a number of times on stress and stress management. You guys, I don't have the answers. I'm going to be blunt. I do not have the answers. I, in essence, have a legal drug dealer. And I just find certain techniques for myself that tend to work. For example, escapism. Yes, that's where reading comes in, or planning, or any of my hobbies, right? But art, tracing, anything that's mindless, those kind of things really help me. So I'm not sure, and I'm not a doctor, you guys. I'm not a trained doctor. I can't give that kind of advice freely, and so the couple of you that I've responded to, or anybody in the future that asks me, that's my disclaimer. I don't know. I just love to slap down some paint and trace. Whether or not a planner is going to work for me or not is not the point of a planner for me. The fact is that if it allows me to live in a world where I can take my mind off of any stress, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. A lot of times I invent code. I'll write in code. I do write my own stories. So there's many things that a person can do. I strongly advise that being creative in whatever form is the best way. And if you don't think you can draw, you certainly can color, right? So, you know, you could just get a child's coloring book and color. So yeah, I never had these down anywhere. Now this word here, you're going to look that up. You're not going to find that word anywhere because I've invented a whole list of words, and that's one of them. So this is the back pages of the weeks, and there's not really much to it. Just wish lists, orders, important tips. I'm going slow, so if you want to screenshot and blow up the pictures, I realize people like doing that. This is the art toolkit. I think I was going to swatch it over here. I never did. I do like to kind of mix and match my art world and my book world together. I don't keep them apart. And then, see, like I've got some of these stickers down, so that would have been February, March's. And then some of these are journal. I've got an August one here, which was tucked in where this ruler was. And so I laid it down here, and then there's September. So what happened to June, July? I don't know. I have no idea where I put those, you guys. And then I have another notebook in the back here. So that's pretty much my Hobonichi weeks, and it's not the mega, it's just the regular with the, I think it's 73? Yeah, 73 note pages. Now I was looking, and I don't know if the current weeks of the next year has this 365 days checkoff sheet. If you have the 2026 weeks ordered, does it have this page in the back? Because I noticed that my cousin does not. Yeah, and which is very interesting because, let's move this guy out of the way and check out the A6. Let's see if the A6 has it. So I guess what I'm doing right now, you guys, is a whole lot of nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing going on. I don't think there was, yeah, it was my 100s in the A6. Important contacts. But yeah, it doesn't have the 365 days, which I really enjoy. So it's not in the A6, so therefore I can't see it being in the A5 either. Let's just check though. Now this is going to be good and close. So every year, yeah, every year there's certain different information in the back, but some they keep and some they don't. This is my top 100. I love that they had these little pictures that you could draw, and it shows you in Japanese how to write them down in I forget what my daughter called it, because the female version, there's a female and male version of Japanese, and I think this is the female version of Japanese. Manji, maybe? Yeah, so maybe it's just a week's thing. I don't know. So have I done anything? Well, just looking. Yeah, I think it's more or less a flip I'm going to be doing, because I think I've really planned, except for the dailies. I did go back to some of these pages that were bothering me. Some of these pages, as you can see, aren't pretty, you guys, and I just cover them up. And you can't expect every page of your book not to be pretty, and it's okay. Like, I've come to terms long ago with the fact that pages of my journals are not going to be pretty. First of all, it helps I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just going to have some water, you guys, as I move away here from the camera. Sorry if that glubbed at all. But yeah, so if you have days where your pages are not the best, don't worry about it. Going back, this is part of the process. I fully believe that. I'm a textural person as well as anything else. So if you don't like looking at it, like, this is wallpaper that I've like put on here. And so I like to feel the fact that this over here is different than here, or that, like, if you listen to the paper with the paint on it, isn't that heavenly? That crinkly? Oh my God, like, to me, that's just like heaven. So, and then, you know, like I said before, you can come in here and, like, I don't know, say I wanted to add some color. So I just take, we call them pencil crayons in Canada. We don't call them colored pencils. But I mean, you know, I don't need to know, and I think I've spoken about this in the past, I don't need to know what my plans were last year, because they're always the same. I don't need to know that, okay, on the 20th or the 29th of July, I had 2 appointments. Why? Well, for a number of reasons. Okay, I have a 5-year diary. I never ever show that 5-year. I never flip that. Okay, in that particular book, that's to myself. That one I don't put on the internet. I mean, And I don't put all my medical information on the internet for various reasons. It would be like, putting my daughter's home addresses on the internet. It's something I wouldn't do. It's like putting my grandchildren's pictures up after they've specifically asked me not to do them. Like I wouldn't, you know. But the great thing is once you've used your pages in a way that you've recorded what they've needed to record, and you maybe not like them and you still want to dabble around in something, and you're like, well, what am I going to do now? Like, this page is done. You can always go back and draw on top of it. And this is basically what I'm showing you here. So this is a luminance, but not that it matters. This one is not a add water, it becomes paint kind of thing, but I'm just going to do half the page here because this is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world, to keep my mind from thinking. I will hurt myself if I allow myself to think, so I try not to. I question everything, you guys, in life. I question everything. I am a theologian, a philosopher. I will chew on topics in my mind until I tire them, or until I fixate on another topic. I've done this my whole life. So if that means that, I've got to find a way to keep my hands busy and do, non-thinking artwork somehow, this is how I do it. And it takes nothing. It takes no creative energy whatsoever to do this. It's like making balloon people for me, or it's like just slapping paint down on a page and hearing the crinkle. You see? So, does it need to look like I know how to color? No. Do I care? No. If I did, well, I'd spend more time on it. But I mean, sometimes I might come along and do it some more. But these books are the books that never end, because I don't care that we're out of July. I can still go back. And for a long time, I used to not like these weekly aspects of the papers, because I used to think, well, what am I doing with them, right? Like, and I used to think, like, to me, these sets were starting to bug me. I didn't like every week to look alike. So I would rather have weeks where some look completely cruddy, because at least I've tried to give them something different in order to be. I mean, obviously, I could have, I don't know. I mean, this is June and July, mind you, right? So it's not like it was January. In January, I think we all start out thinking, if we have brand new books in January, oh, this is going to be the quote-unquote perfect year, and I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and this book is going to be beautiful. And then we get to, I don't know, April, and we're like, F that. I don't have time, energy, motivation. I'm drained. I'm tired. It's another day. Like, no. So you guys, like, lower your expectations. In my personal opinion, the more I lower my expectations, the higher I feel that I'm satisfied by my books. It's that old adage saying, the harder you work, the less you're satisfied. So, have scraps of paper, have things put aside, and allow yourself the creativity to do that, because I've been messaged a few times about that too, about where do I get my ideas. You guys, I don't get any ideas. I sit here and I talk to you, and if I if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be just running it through my head anyway. I'm just opening my mouth, the words are stumbling out, and I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, I have no more of a clue than anybody else. None. No. I think everybody is just as creative and has something to offer the rest of everybody else. And I think that's what makes the community of art in general very inspirational as a whole, you know. And I think my only worry is that AI will take it over, because I don't think a human being can ever be replaced by AI. It would be flawed. And, you know, already we're seeing this come out, you know, like every storyline's been done, but a human being can write from the standpoints of that character in a way that no AI can do, in my personal opinion, I believe. I feel like I can honestly drink 5 of these waters today, and I'm not sure why. So, yeah, I've come along and I've used various different pens. On this day, see, my weeks tend to be pretty much the same. If I wanted to journal about the day, I could have been. I didn't actually come up with these words until way later, and that's okay too. I noticed a number of them. See, that said cold there, and I changed it to gold. And so what that allowed me to do is thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have very monthly specific words, as opposed to what I did this time, which was taking a crossword for the winter months and using just words that way. So, and sometimes, you know, sometimes I wish I never did mess with the page. And other months, you know, I think it's okay that I did. And that really, you know, see, I don't do these up. I don't do these pages up for my children. That's the difference. I hear this all the time, that people do these books up for their children. And if that would have been the case for me, say if my kids were in their teens, and God help me, I had time, which I never did. Being that I was in the military, I had 3 teenage girls as a single mom. And yeah, their dad had them like every second weekend for like a night, maybe 2. Especially when they became in their teens, girls tend to be wanting to be in their own environment, right? So if I was going to write something for them, I would have had their own page or book. I do these books up for me and nobody else but me. So, like last night, I was sitting here and I was watching some educational podcast on something I was researching. And I was just doing this because I had to keep my hands busy. And before, I think when I showed you, I'd only done this bit of pink and maybe a bit of the green. And maybe this looks like too much. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, if I wanted to come along and frame a picture down or draw, it doesn't matter. And then I did that, you know, because these were the only things of importance on the whole page. And I marked the weeks, 36, which tells you up here. And then here is week 37. And then this is this week. So I haven't even done any of these chores. All I've done basically is this appointment, which, by the way, completely drained me because it's one of my therapy appointments and I just get exhausted. So, but that's how I've been kind of doing the weeks. And I quite like that. You know, I usually generally pick 2 or 3 colors and fill it out vertically. And then I put some sticker kits down. Again, the podcast I was watching was over 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So I had time. I was just sitting here. And of course, I still haven't put my iPad together, so I wasn't filming. And so, you know, it was just a quiet moment in time where I was just sitting here and laying down stickers. Okay. And do I care that the color matches? No, because this could be, I don't know, a vacation in Sydney, Australia, right? Doesn't matter to me. This could be part of dreamland. And then I found this kit. I thought, okay, well, I'll write this down. And then this one here was all the block one. So I just put like butterflies and like, look at this. I mean, does this really match November's vibe? I don't go by that. So this one here does say November 12th, so I did put it down on November 12th. But from week 47 to week 52 and a half, because there is that extra half week, there's nothing down. And that's good. It gives me something to do. And then I was coming along, and slowly but surely, oh, there's July there. So remember, I was telling you I had no idea where July was. So chances are in the first Hobonichi cousin avec, I probably have May, June, or whatnot, April, May, June on vellum like this, as opposed to just putting it in the back of the weeks, like the September one and the August one. So, I mean, one of these kits literally does all 3 of my books. So, you know, it's a real surprise where I put them all. And, summertime in the city. So yeah, I haven't gone back and written about these words, or even if I'm going to, doesn't matter. But chances are I will, because we're still in September. So there's September, October, November, and December. That's 4 months of me puttering around with books. This one was Unity, and for some reason I was thinking of my mom taking me, of all places, on the ride It's a Small World in Disneyland. I was turning 4 on the way there. My sister was turning 8 on the way home. And I remember that was my mom. She just loved that particular ride. We're in boats and we go around and around, little log boats. And it reminded me of that song in Shrek, you know. And to me, I don't think I'll ever forget that memory of just riding that same ride over and over and over with my mom. Amber, does this have anything to do with Amber? No. Except I could turn that into Amber Alert. And where I live, an Amber Alert is when somebody goes missing. And I used to be in search and rescue. So part of our job was to go help find kids that got lost. There was somebody who did comment on these 2 pages, and I thank you, saying, because I was saying I really like the look of these and I couldn't figure out why. And the person offered me a perspective of these 2 pages, and I was very grateful for that. Thank you so much. Because it takes a dimension, and it's almost like a projection of the dimension, if you will. And it almost, like this is 2D and this is like 4D, and so interpose them and you literally would have like a 6D dimensional thing. I know this sounds very heavy and dark, but it also reminds me as well as some of the earlier video games, and then like some of the sticker sheets where you got flowers and and I've done that too, where I've painted squares and then drawn little figures in there. You might hear the kids behind me. I did put cookies, cozy blanket, figgy pudding, jasmine. So I might like draw a cup of tea. Which I can do with you because, drawing a cup of tea. Let's see. Do you have to be a good artist, people? No. No, not at all. Because there's so many different types of art, you guys, that you don't have to be good, quote unquote, because first of all, we're very hard on ourselves, okay? We're very, very, very hard on ourselves. And second of all, just hang on. Sorry, I was listening to the boys outside. It's so funny to hear them talk. We are so hard on ourselves about how we can draw, how we can sing, how we look, and we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And if you could just let go of that. And I know it sounds easier than it is, but seriously, it really could be. If you just have fun with it. So I come along and I draw a mug, which is jasmine tea. So do I need to know how to draw? Not really. And in fact, the wonkier your pictures are, the more your personal style will show through, and the less details you put, the more expressive your photos become. That's one thing that I've come to understand when it's about drawing. You don't need to have so many different it's specific perfections, if you see what I'm saying. So, and you can train yourself simply by taking say a sharpener like this and drawing what you see, not what you think you should see, but what you actually see. Like a tape holder, and every day just pick it up and look at it from a different way, and that's it. Jasmine tea. There you go. And then if I wanted to make that even, a tad bit more interesting, I'll just take a couple of Tombow markers. And these are water soluble, which means if I wanted to, and I wanted to take like a water brush, I could. You see, I could very much do any of that. But really it comes down to, I think, like just textures. So crayons or pencil crayons or felt pens or whatever you've got, the more, the different kinds of items that you have will add to the play in your mind. And keep it simple, believe it or not. Do you need to know how to shadow or any of that? No. I mean, I knew people, like I took a 2D art class and a 3D art class. The 3D art class was sculptures and like clay pieces and stuff like that. And I did really, really well in that particular class, although I'm not, like, it kind of surprised me that I did. And I think the only reason I did is because I had to work with some tools and stuff I was really uncomfortable with. But in drawing, I had a different kind of teacher altogether. She was one of those teachers where she didn't care how much you improved. She threw her own biases into it, meaning if you were a good drawer to begin with, or, you know, if you fit the mold of what she considered art, you did well in her class, as opposed to where you were and how your view on art changed. And I'm hoping that kind of makes sense to some of you. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is you're never going to please anybody. And the faster a person realizes that you never will please everybody, then you can start pleasing yourself and life becomes so much easier. Now, for some reason, I thought I had a different color. Let's see. So I doubt I'm going to use the gray anywhere but to put jasmine tea. And then, do you hear the boys? They're having a time of their life out there. Oh my gosh, I hope they enjoy it. Like, I really do. Do you realize, I don't know, sometimes I think about this, that kids are only like kids for such a short wink of time. And I'm smearing this, which is great, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if it would smear. Yeah, so I'm one of those neighbors where if anybody gives these boys a hard time, I'm like white on rice, because I'm a Gen X, and I remember kids playing outside and people left us alone. You know, they knew that we were raised right, and they also knew that if our folks ever found out that we were not behaving properly, that we'd hear about it, and then, oh my God, like, they would believe everybody but us. I mean, you know, like, there was no there was no other way around it. That's just how it was. So I love it when I hear the boys outside playing. The only thing I don't ever like is when they, you know, kind of jump off the sidewalk and go into the traffic area, especially the little ones. But For the most part, the big ones and I have a deal to kind of keep an eye out for them, and they do have folks and whatnot, but you know, they're kids, right? They're boys. They're gonna play. So there's my jasmine tea, my great art lesson of the day. So yeah, I did another one, and so I could come along at any time and do this. So figgy pudding, I don't know what figgy pudding looks like, but I imagined if I was to put like it on a plate. I'm trying to think. Okay, I just made a boo-boo there. Let's see. Eraser. Now, if I remember right, it's like this, like, I don't know, figgy pudding. Isn't that an English, like, fruit cake? Kind of looks like that, and it has a sauce on it. Anyway, it could be, it might not be, I don't know. But there it is. So that's all I do, is I come along sometimes and I do that. Let's see what else I've done. I still haven't put food stickers down here because that's too easy. I haven't outlined any of these flowers here. But that's the other thing, like when you're putting down watercolor and they blur like this, you know, what look are you looking for? So like when I was doing this, like, is it too much to do all of this? Would it have better to just done a little bit? Or is it nice just to leave it like that? You see what I'm saying? So it's really hard to know. I did do gold, and I did draw family here. The dates don't make sense because at the time of this, my daughter hadn't had her baby at the time. And I'm not even sure if you can see it correctly, but it's not colored in. I'm just moving it so I can see it. But yeah, like, do I know how to draw? No, you guys. God, no. But then again, do I have to know? No. No, I don't. And then here's another one. So this word of the day is frost. So I took it to be Robert Frost and the path less taken. And I'm going to take the poem and write the poem here. And this is how I see other people in life taking their path, right? And this is my path. This is me. And this is like everybody else. So, and then happiness. Well, I've left it completely, you know, blank with tape on it. And this paper right now with all its flaws on it is almost perfect for happiness for me. And then this one here is hats. You know, do I know how that fits in? No, it doesn't. But you know what I like about this kind of book too is I look at these designs and I think, you know, this could be my own washi tape, that design. So then I've written down other words up here. I've got music, I've got lights. I did paint in some more stuff. I use different kinds of paint. This one here, I think I might put a pocket because it's before my birthday. And this is my birthday, and I wrote out that I'm not really into birthdays. And yet the word of the day was celebrating, and the word of the day here was snowflakes. So there was no rhyme or reason. Sometimes I like to come along and prep these pages and then put the word on top to see if there's any interconnectedness to them, which makes it a game, like a word search. And then another thing I like to do too is when I am painting, like this here, this picture here completely reminds me of being in nature. And I'm not even sure what the word is because I haven't written it down, but it doesn't matter because for some reason I just feel that I can work it in. But my goodness, if you've never tried, like, if you don't have paints, that's fine. But if you have like Tombos or like even cheap watercolor markers, add water to them, spread it around. You don't even need brushes. Just use your fingers. Finger paint, and then let it dry and trace out and see what you can't see in the pictures. And you'll be surprised. Like I find it so therapeutic, you guys. Like I said, for me, having this book is such a combination of whether or not it's a planner or if it's here just as like a Linus blanket to keep my mind occupied, or any number of things. But I've always relied on paper and pen to help me do that in some way, shape, or form. Have I ever found like planner piece or this, I don't know. I've heard other people talking about this ideal setup that, and I'm trying to formulate and express myself, and sometimes I really can't, you guys. But I never find that with myself. I just change up on the daily what each day is, and for me that's good enough. Some days it's more than good enough, and I enjoy just playing, and for me playing is enough. And I love how when I was using this color, because it was just the one color, it was just different washes of the one color. And sometimes I don't wash my palette top. So what I mean by that is if I'm using, what are you? A metallic pen. Where did you come from? Okay, well, we'll put you in there. Sometimes I'll mix my color paints up here. So sometimes, did I do it down here? Yeah, see? Sometimes I'll have like paint here, or like you'll see like I completely contaminate my paints and they come out like this. And I like that because I don't need to have my colors distinct. I like the contamination. I like the mixture of it. And so it really comes down to personal choice and just playing and being creative. And I think, sorry, you guys, I'm just listening to the boys again. I'm so easily distracted. And And that is why during this time, like, I'm like pretty much useless, because part of me can't do anything but kind of listen out for the boys and make sure they're okay. Because our walls are paper thin here, but yeah, I guess my whole point to any and all of this is I have no idea what word of the day is. So let's look. 824. Music. So music. Does this scene have anything to do with music? Does it need to? Well, not particularly. But if I wanted to make it that way, you know, I could start like finding the faces in here, finding the creatures in here. Like here's a creature here. Right there. Do you see the face? Here's another one up here. And so, and another one here. Just the eyes have to come out. And then more eyes here. And so what does that have to do with music? Well, you need a band, right, to have music. Here's another one here. And then over here, I could just lay up some instruments. So sort of like the land before time. Do you guys remember that? So you make your own kind of instruments that these creatures can play on, you know. And that's what I do, is I just come along and I play that way. Here's another person here, this little gnome, right? It's amazing to me, like, how you can take something and just make it into something else. And, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you. If you don't want to transfer your colors while you're tracing, make sure you use, like, either wax paper or craft paper or any other kinds of paper, wax paper, along here so it doesn't. For me, I don't really care if it stamps through like that. So what else have we got here? I need to put something between these two pages for sure. And I don't know that I want to. I have a feeling somehow that we're running out of time, but sometimes I don't want to use up my vellum to do it. Let's just see how much time we've been. We're well over an hour, so I'm just going to come along, remove this piece here. Let's see what's over here. I'll put it right in the middle. So yeah, I guess for me, I just did a whole lot of talking, you guys, and I hope that you were able to get something out of this. Sometimes I just come on here to show possibilities of things that have potential. However, they don't necessarily need to be practical, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put that there. Let's get that one ripped off of there. I'm going to put that there. We're going to leave all of these dots on. And my best friend tape is going to come on. So I guess I really do hope that if you're struggling to find ways to make your pages fulfilled, or you're feeling like you don't know what to do, or your books are overwhelming you, don't feel like you have to go back and retrace your entire step. My tip for me, and once I started doing this, you guys, life became so much simpler. Get a cheap wall calendar. Write your main stuff on that. And then transfer everything else into your books based on that wall calendar. The wall calendar is not portable, no. But it's your home calendar. And then you won't have to fuss or worry that you don't have the main stuff. And if you have multiple people in your family, then you simply just can either color code it or write like get a family size calendar, or something similar like that. But the simpler you go, I find, the better your system will work for you. And the simpler it is, the simpler and more effective and more fun you're going to have. So, and you don't have to be this, I don't know, you don't have to look at what you're doing in comparison to somebody else and saying, oh gosh, I'm really not doing well. So I'm just going to flip the last final pages here, you guys. So there's September. I may not like this. I might cover it over with more white and just do another title page there. But I'm right where I need to be, you see? And then, because this is September, I still haven't done these ones, but I have done mushrooms, nature, path, roots, travel, trees. This was winter. Yesterday's was bubble bath, where I wrote a little bit. And then today is break. And ironically, I could take this one word as another hint too, and I can see how many words I can make out of that word break. So I could say era, I could say reek, I could say beak, I could say bear, and then I can make any kind of thing out of that. You see what I'm saying, you guys? Your books are only limited by your imagination. And the rest, to the end of the month, I bubbled in. I'm not sure what happened here, but it looks like that one got caught. That October page got caught with this page here. And November, December, and to the end. Well, I've managed to do everything I wanted to do today. I didn't do a daily. I didn't flip my daily pages because, like, I don't think I've done anything. Here we are here, except write few notes. And I'll tend to go back and forth of doing that, where I go from that to just writing notes. It depends on my mood. But I don't have, like, I don't seem to have any specific set plans. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this very lengthy, I don't know, flip or something. I pray that you are all doing well and that midweek is finding you at a good point. And remember, we are all perfectly imperfect. You are loved, needed, and wanted far, far more than you will ever know. Thank you guys so much for your comments, for your likes, for spending your time with me. And I will talk to you next time. The sooner the better. Okay, guys. Bye for now.